Going to go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services Commission. My name is Tara Tui. I'm chair of the commission. It's Thursday, June 27th, 2024, and we are in person in the multi-agency state office building. We do have one commissioner online. Vice Chair Steve Handy is joining us remotely for some of the meeting at least. And so we will be doing roll call votes today as long as he's on remotely. Commissioner Tom Jacobson is also here in another room on a work call, so he'll be in shortly. And judging by the size of the audience, I think a lot of people are on vacation today. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Aaron. Please stand. By way of announcements today, we will be having our next meeting July 25th in this location. And then on August 29th, also in this location. We've got a few upcoming store closures for holidays. Liquor stores and the DABS administrative offices and warehouse will be closed Thursday, July 4th and Wednesday, July 24th. If you have public comment, it can be submitted online at the email address hotline@utah.gov, or you can sign up in the back of the room to speak at the end of today's meeting. Moving on to our next agenda item, we've got Tracy from our staff to discuss the proposed fiscal year 2025 internal audit plan. Tracy.
Commissioners, the proposed 2025 audit plan should have been included in your packet. And so I'm just seeking your approval to go forth with that, probably the second week of July.
Comments from commissioners? Questions? Thank you. And Tracy, I know you've been very, very busy on a number of audit items, and we appreciate your diligence and your attention bringing matters to the attention of the commission where needed and being willing to take on additional items as well. We will be taking a roll call vote to approve the audit plan, so I'd be looking for a motion to approve. Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Terrazon. All those in favor, please say aye. Well, actually, we'll go to Vicky for the roll call. Thank you.
Commissioner Orton, Commissioner Tui.
Aye.
Commissioner Tennert.
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon, Commissioner Jacobson. Oh, he's not here. Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
Thank you.
I rule that passes, and Tracy, best wishes. Thank you very much for your presentation. Moving on to our Parents Empowered update. Doug. Hi, Doug.
Hi. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you, Chair. We're in the last 2 days of our fiscal year, and Parents Empowered is wrapping up our CPPs, or Community Partnership Projects, as we speak. So I have a couple of slides. I'd like to share some of the messages of a particular CPP in Ivapaw, Utah. So here's your test question. Where is Ivapaw, Utah?
I've been there.
Nice.
I have been there before. It is on the border of Nevada, and basically you drive to Wendover, drive into Nevada for an hour and a half and back down to Idaho.
You're exactly right.
It is the tribal headquarters of the Confederated Tribe.
That's exactly it. I have to
Gold
admit,
star.
I had to look it up to find out exactly where it was, but you nailed it. And I asked my two colleagues next to me, and they had no idea. But yeah, thank you for that. So anyhow, yeah, Ivapaw, Utah, like you mentioned, the population, I think we found out, is about 140. Thank you. But they're mostly of the Goshute people. They are a tribe of the Western Shoshone Native Americans. And you may recall in January in my presentation to you, I talked about Deanna Grossman. She's the Wendover Prevention Coordinator. And she put on a CPP. It was a New Year's Eve celebration where they got the community together, complete with a youth dance, games, and then they had this giant gathering out on the salt flats at midnight where they let off these lanterns, right? Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was like 400 or 500 people that showed up for this. Anyhow, she's a terrific prevention person out in the area, but that was the first half of the CPP in Wendover. The second half is this partnership in Ibapaw. So if we can, Steve, if you wouldn't mind pulling up, I just have a few slides. Yeah, that's a little better. So anyhow, yeah, these are it's kind of fun. We worked with the Go Shoot people and partnered with them. We asked them to choose some select pictures of their community. And I understand it took a long time to come up with these. They had so many pictures, but it's really nice. These are just pull-up banners. And so it'll be kind of fun. There'll be mobile billboards, if you will, that they can take from place to place wherever they're gathering. And so great messaging from Parents Empowered and the community. Next slide. They have a community center in Ibapaw, and we'll have messages throughout the community center. And just so you know, these are just mock-ups, but they'll look very similar, in size and dimension here, but we'll have messaging throughout their community center. Next slide. Basketball's a big, fan sport there. And so this is an indoor basketball backboard on the right. And then we have some outdoor backboards we're going to cover. And this was kind of a custom image there that they chose to portray. So excited about that. Next slide. And this is the last slide, but these are just bus stop enclosure panels. So there's a couple of them. Great messaging. I like the one particularly on the far right. Stay active, stay strong, stay alcohol free. So I just wanted to mention our partners, Deanna Grossman, who has a great relationship with the Go Shoot people. We work closely with them to make sure that our messaging was sensitive to their culture, and yeah, it was a great partnership, and hopefully that'll continue into the future. Okay. And then finally, I wanted to mention our new fiscal year CPP projects are well underway. We sent the applications out in June. In July, we're going to hold some individual workshops to kind of brainstorm some ideas that some of the applicants might have. And then August will be the final deadline for submission, and then we'll score and award the CPP projects at that time. So needless to say, we're really looking forward to the new fiscal year and these new community partnership projects. And that's it, commissioners. Thank you for your time. This concludes my report.
Great. Thank you, Doug. Lots of great work going on. And I'm proud that I knew where I was, and
Awesome.
that's
Very
great
good.
for that community. Thank you. Michael, we'll turn to you now for our financial update. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Tui, and good morning, commissioners. May's retail revenue for this year was 51.9 million, which is 9.1 million higher than May of last year, which was 42.8 million. However, this difference is present because May this year was a 5-week month, whereas May last year was only a 4-week month. Comparing actual sales per business days for those two periods, we were up 0.44%. Year to date so far, total revenue is 536.4 million, which is 6.8 million higher than last year's year to date. Since this year, however, has had 4 more days of business than last year, on a daily sales comparison, we're just 0.17% lower than last year. So it does remain stagnant like it has. And then down below, the next block of figures are all year to date for the first 11 months of fiscal year 2024. After a cost of liquor sold of 299 million, and operating and non-operating expenses of 80.8 million. We are left with a net operating income of 162 million and program transfers of 62.7 million. And that concludes my presentation.
Great, Mike, and thank you for stepping in with our finance director Sean's departure. We wish him all the best, and I know a lot has been thrown at you in a short period of time, and I think the commission all agrees that we want to share our thanks and appreciation to you personally for stepping up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mike before we move on? Okay, great. We are now going to get our operations update from Director Clayson, who is online today. Director, are you there? Can see you.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can't see you.
Great.
For you.
Great. Look, thank you, Chair Tui. I am sorry that I can't be there in person, especially when this is when you've been serving as chair for the year. I want to start the operations report by just extending my gratitude to you for your leadership this last year. You came into this role with a clear vision of what you wanted to accomplish in your year as chair. And you've done that. You've made meetings more efficient. You've been able to get the support, I hope, from the department staff so that we can better support the commission. You've just had a great vision on this, and this was a great continuation and building from the foundation that Commissioner Tenner set in her year as chair. And so I just wanted to commend you for setting clear goals and then helping to drive us with that leadership, not only your fellow commissioners, but department staff, so that we could help you achieve those goals and objectives. In addition to that, you had a really clear focus on wanting to improve training, wanting to improve education, not only for your fellow commissioners and for yourself, but also to improve those relationships and to get that education and training from the source, from industry leaders and other stakeholders that are in this space. And so, again, you've done a great job with that. It's been, I think, a pleasure for the department staff to be able to work with you and to work with the commission on setting those things up. So I just wanted to start quickly by saying that, and then very quickly go into the operations report to say, 2 years ago, we launched the department name and we had a new mission statement emphasizing the DABS commitment to being a service-first department. There have been a number of initiatives and internal best practices backing up that commitment, one of which was improving the consistency, frequency, and reliability of communications and information sharing, particularly with our licensees. Some of those things are improved consistency during annual audits. So our entire compliance team is now following the same audit checklist and informing licensees of the same do's and don'ts according to 32B, right? Our state laws and policies. Another improvement are quarterly newsletters and other information sharing with our licensee communities so that licensees know the changes to the law and other relevant information, right? It's really difficult to expect them to be compliant with the law if they don't know when the law changes, which, it often does during legislative session. So I do think that the deployment of those quarterly newsletters will continue to be really helpful to build trust, to share that information as changes come about. Also, we've been able to update information on the website to improve readability, accuracy, and the relevance of information. So this is a huge lift, really on Erica and Jeremy especially. The two of them are sorting through many PDFs and going line by line through all of those PDFs to make sure that they make sense, that they are accurate. And then we're trying to make them look more professional. We have a team of people that have kept those, who have created those in the past and done a really good job keeping them up to date. But there's an effort underway just to kind of scrub them again and make sure they're all up to date and current. And so that's another piece of what we're doing with our licensee community to information share and make sure that we're doing our best to provide that aspect of customer service with this part of our customer base. So look, we all know, we even talked about it last month when Auditor Dougal was there. When our licensees who are licensed to serve and to sell alcohol, when they understand the requirements and the needs for them to be able to do that and be compliant, we know that public safety is better, it's improved, and we know that businesses can avoid inadvertent violations that happen just because of a lack of understanding. So I just wanted to take a moment in operations update to highlight those things that the staff have been working on operationally and compliance. And we'll continue to refine that process and better utilize all communication tools and mediums to be able to provide a consistent and clear message all throughout the year, and then especially at the annual audit. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Kate, anything to add there? Okay. Well, thank you for all the kind words. I certainly didn't expect that, but it's much appreciated. This feels like a full-time job at some parts of the month, and it's not. It's a volunteer, pretty much unpaid position. But I've learned so much and gained a lot of personal insights into, how this works and how it could work better. And I really appreciate the department for listening to me asking all the dumb questions and making me feel not dumb and working to really improve efficiencies. It makes me feel like I'm doing my duty to the state. And so I really appreciate that. Thank you, Director. And thank you. Okay, moving on with our agenda, we are now going to go to our consent calendar to cover violations. And Sam would look to you for any updates on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Chair Tui. We have 13 items on the consent calendar. All are complete with settlement agreements in place, ready for commission action unless any commissioners have questions on it.
Sam. Juliet, I'll go to you now and see if there was any further discussion or recommendations from the compliance subcommittee.
Compliance subcommittee reviewed the consent calendar. We had a good discussion, and we also appreciate the fact that Erin Hinkle and RAG are always there to provide any additional information that we're looking for. And so the recommendation coming out of the subcommittee is to go ahead and approve the consent calendar as written. And so I will move that we do that. I move that we approve the consent calendar as written.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Terrazon. We'll do a roll call vote. Vicki?
Commissioner Orton.
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon. Commissioner Tenert.
Aye.
Commissioner Tui.
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobson. Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
We'll move on to our licensee recognitions, which Cade will be covering for us this month. Deputy Director Meyer, the floor is yours. Excuse me, is your microphone on?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and speak right into it. We've been getting some feedback that people are having a tough time online. There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we just wanted to take a moment to recognize all those, as you can see coming up on the board, who successfully passed an SBI check. And we're very excited about this because you can see on here a number of stores, places, hotels, restaurants, licensees that are all doing a great job. And we're just very appreciative of their time, their efforts that they all make. And this includes from a top down all the way down the list at their companies. So appreciate all of them. And as I was reviewing the list, I was proud that, my 18-year-old who's out and about is going to some of these places, and I can feel safe that she's doing so in a great, responsible way. So thank you very much to all those who did that.
It's great. And congratulations to all those licensees. We appreciate the good partnership in maintaining safety for our underage population. Next we'll be moving to our consent agenda, and I'll turn the time over to Erica Evans.
Thank you, Chair Tui. I also want to take the moment that I have with the mic to thank you for the last year as well. You've been fantastic. So, but I'll keep it brief. Onto the consent agenda, you'll notice we have the minutes to approve from our last meeting. We also have bar renewals listed. Out of 409 bar licenses, 406 renewed. 3 surrendered, one of which is a grandfathered license as a bar, so it doesn't count against the quota, but 2 do go back into the pool because of that. Those renewals will need to be effective July 1st to comply with statute and avoid any expiration on June 30th. You'll also notice the other types of applications, off-premise beer retailers, manufacturing, package agency, hotel and hotel sublicense, special use permits, limited and beer restaurants, a tavern, and a reception center. One note, we only have 1 reception center license left. So if that is awarded today, there will be no left for at least several months. You'll also notice in the same vein, because there's been historical scarcity with bar licenses and full service restaurants, those are addressed separately on the agenda and will be covered after we get through the consent agenda. I also want to note that you've all had a chance to review the applications, ask staff questions, and go through them thoroughly. Happy to answer any questions, but I think with that, you're ready for a motion.
Be looking for a motion from the commission. Move to discussion if there is any.
That we accept the consent agenda.
Commissioner Orton, is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Terrazon. Any discussion about any items on the consent agenda? Okay, Vicky will do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Handy,
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Terrazon, Commissioner Tui,
Aye.
Commissioner Tenert,
Aye.
Commissioner Orton. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. We'll now be moving on to our license applications. It is 10:24. I just love a succinct meeting. We'll first be discussing bar applications. Is Rob here? Rob, you want to come up to the podium, please? And first, tell us about our license change of ownership application.
We have Sugar House Station. They're in Salt Lake City. This transfer is complete. It is conditional, but they plan on opening around July 10th. So
This is the old Kimmy's location, is that right?
Kimmy's location,
Okay.
correct?
Great. I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I move that we approve this change of ownership.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Terrazon. Let's go to a roll call vote. And by the way, we've had to do roll call votes because we were reminded that commission votes when we have remote participants need to be roll call in fashion. So it's a little change, but Vicky, go ahead.
Commissioner Orton, Commissioner Tenert.
Aye.
Commissioner Tui,
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon, Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
To Sugar House Station. Moving on to ready to operate applicants. Before I go to you, Rob, I did want to take a quick moment to discuss the population quota. You'll recall, I think it was 2 months ago, we had expected to award a license that was in the possession of the commission due to the population quota. And there was some disagreement about the data sources that we were using, if we were using old numbers or new numbers or current numbers or whatever numbers. And so we took time, worked with staff, worked with the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget to come up with a plan moving forward that will provide a reliable data source, a predictable data source for the commission to use year round. So Commissioner Tenert is actually has led up that project on behalf of the commission. So I asked her to just share a few words about the plan going forward.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll be very brief. And I appreciate you say that I've kind of led this, but I just provided some guidance and insight, and Erica Evans and her team, as well as the demographic and economic analysis experts over the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget, have just done a great job to get us to a place where we're going to institutionalize a process that is going to strengthen that predictability that our chair mentioned. Predictability for the commission, for the applicants, and then also will ensure the accountability to our state statute, which has always been the case. Again, just trying to insert a little bit more rigor or predictability in the analysis that takes place to get to the point where we have a number of bar licenses available. And so if anyone ever wants to talk about this in detail, I'm so excited to take you through all of the math. And Erica and I were working to kind of write Excel language over into actual language, and we'd be happy to go through all the details with you. But the bottom line is that we're in essentially a similar place to where we've always been, but just confirming that we will use the population estimate that is produced by the Utah Population Committee. And the most recent estimate that's been produced by the Population Committee, because population estimates are always in the rearview mirror, is for July 1 of 2023. And so we use that as our base number. And then we apply growth factors, or sometimes there's a projected decline factors, to that base number that are coming out of the Utah Economic Council, which is co-chaired by the chief economist in the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget and the chief economist at the Gardner Policy Institute, and has a number of demographic and economic experts that serve. And so from here on out, we're just confirming that that will be our process going forward, is to apply those great growth rates that are coming out of the Utah Economic Council to that Utah Population Committee base. And we will do that July 1 of every year. So we have this new statute that changes the quota every year. And so we will update those population figures every year with those pieces of information. And again, we're in a great place. The analysis leads us to where we thought we would be, and that we will have 15 additional bar licenses available in just a couple of days on July 1, and the other licenses will follow suit. So that's where we are.
Thank you, Commissioner Tennert. And we are, again, so lucky to have Juliet as a commissioner on this esteemed body because she really brings a wealth of expertise as the former director of the Governor's Office of Management and Budget and an economist by trade. So we're really grateful for that. So with that, a bit of an announcement. So because of the surrender of 2 of the licenses, we have 2 licenses that will be available starting July 1st. We also had the 15 additional licenses that were granted by the legislature in the alcohol bill this year that will be effective July 1st. The plan was to have a special commission meeting on July 1st, but we have determined, since the additional licenses that were surrendered today won't be effective until July 1st, they would be in the same boat as the other licenses. So we're not going to have a special meeting, and we're going to move forward with granting those licenses today, or considering the licenses and then voting on them. So Rob, with that, we'd like to sort of take these separately, and I'll go to you first to give us any update there might be on the 2 applicants who are ready to operate, Manor F&B and River Horse on Main.
So Manor F&B is still conditional just based on the business license switch with the city, and River Horse is ready to go, non-conditional.
Commissioner Tennert, I'll go to you to see if there was additional discussion, questions, or a recommendation from the subcommittee.
Sure, I can address that for you. And of course, the subcommittee took a look at these applications, and we appreciate all the data that Rob and his team provide to us to take a look at these applications. But honestly, at the end of the day, there wasn't a whole lot of consideration to be had. And I'll be honest, I did not dig into these applications in the way that I have in the past, doing a fairly in-depth analysis of each with all of the different components of economic contribution, safety, history with previous operators, location, rural versus urban. There's really not a whole lot to consider given that the statute just has a violation history. I mean, we see a couple have a violation history, but we didn't really dig in on those because the statute does have us awarding licenses to any applicants that meet those statutory criteria that are laid out. And so my colleagues can maybe add to the discussion, but there really wasn't a whole lot of discussion about the individual applications. And the recommendation is to be consistent with statute, that we go ahead and approve all of these applications.
Commissioner Tenner, do you mean in the ready to operate and?
Well,
other
yeah, I guess I should say I should say that I'm talking about both, and then I'm realizing that we should take these separately. But when I'm talking about both in the approach, and so the recommendation would be the recommendation is to approve those applicants Manor, F&B Colville, and River Horse on Main Park City for. That's what I was like. As I was talking, I'm like trying to remember exactly that there was that little nuance to be approve the applications for those bars that are ready to operate, Manor, F&B Colville, and River Horse on Main Park City, effective July 1st. And so I'll put that as a motion, and I'm sure that there will be opportunity for discussion.
Is there a second? Commissioner Terrazon, thank you for the second. Discussion to the motion. Okay, let's go to a roll call vote.
Commissioner Orton, Commissioner Tenner,
Aye.
Commissioner Tui,
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon, Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Manor and River Horse. We'll move on to the discussion for all other applicants. While Rob's here, are there any questions from the commission about other applicants for Rob? Commissioner Jacobson, did you have a question? Go ahead. Yes.
Rob, on this number 6, it's projected opening date is a year. And I saw the pictures and everything. We're a long ways away. Is there any reason we should not?
Commissioner Jacobson, could you pull your microphone closer for those online? Thank you very much.
Is there any reason we should not be giving them a license even though they're that far away from opening?
They meet statutory requirements. I don't see any reason not to give it to them.
And how long would this license be tied up if we give it to them effective July 1st?
If we give it to them effective July 1st, they have 18 months to open, and then they could request an additional 6 months past that. So technically 2 years.
So we could go all the way to July 26, correct? Okay, thank you. Just want to clarify that.
Questions or discussion?
Still have to renew the license. If they're
Annually.
awarded the license as conditional, so they still have to pay every year at the period.
Thank you for that. I won't put my statement in the form of a question so eloquently like Commissioner Jacobson did, but I do feel that awarding a license that will be tied up for 18 months, I find that problematic. I think the law prescribes us to do that, and we don't have a choice in that. And so I'll be voting in favor of awarding the license because that's what is dictated by the law. However, I hope that as we discuss the alcohol bill this year, that we can award some discretion to the commission in not tying up a license for 2 full years. I don't feel like that is necessarily a good thing, considering that we, even with the increase in licenses, we are still facing a scarcity of licenses. And so until the scarcity issue is dealt with, I think that it would behoove the legislature to possibly consider allowing more discretion to the commission to not tie up a license for 2 years when there's other people that will be waiting in line when we run out of licenses later this year. Any other discussion before we relieve Rob? Go ahead, Commissioner Orton.
Going to go ahead and add my concerns because I know that within 3 months, we are going to have a line of applicants who are hoping to get a license, who would be able to put that license to its best and highest use immediately. And we won't have licenses to give. And meanwhile, there will be licenses that are sitting on the sidelines, earning the state and the taxpayers nothing. And I just want to add to the chairwoman and Commissioner Jacobson's concerns that this is not good for the state. And I'll just say that.
Rob, thank you so much for all the work you've done here to prepare us and the applicants for the meeting today. So sit down. With that, I'd be looking for a motion to approve all other.
Move to approve the applications for all other applicants 1 through 6.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Terrazon. You're kind of in my eye line. Makes sense. Any discussion to the motion? Okay, roll call vote. Vicky.
Commissioner Orton.
Aye.
Commissioner Tenert.
Aye.
Commissioner Tui.
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon. Commissioner Jacobson. Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
That passes. Congratulations to our applicants on their bar licenses. We look forward to seeing you open and serve the public soon. With the next agenda item, we will be considering applicants for full service restaurant licenses. Craig, would you like to come up to the podium and give us an update?
Our full service restaurants, this month we have 3 for a change of ownership. We have Ogden Beer Company in Ogden, Binka Restaurant in Salt Lake, and Five Alls Five Dining in Salt Lake City.
Commissioner Orton, I understand your committee was able, the subcommittee was able to talk about these. Any recommendation you'd like to make here?
Well, do we want to take them? Do we want to take the 3 sections separately?
We can do it all together.
Okay.
Okay.
So we were in a similar situation as the compliance subcommittee. There's really no room for discretion or deep discussion like we've had previously. So with that said, our recommendation is that we award licenses to the license change of ownerships 1, 2, 3, ready to operate number 1, and all other applicants 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And with that, I would make a motion that we accept these applications.
Is there a second? Thank you. Thank you. Before we go to a vote, Craig, is there anything you'd like to add on any of the other applicants for consideration?
Statutory requirements, currently we have 22 full service restaurant licenses to.
Sorry, Erica had a comment.
I'll just clarify, 23, we got 1 surrender a day ago.
So 23 minus 6. With that, we'll go to a roll call vote. Vicky, go ahead.
Commissioner Orton. Commissioner Tenert.
Aye.
Commissioner Tui.
Aye.
Commissioner Terrazon. Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Handy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Craig, for your preparation here. Appreciate it. So our last agenda item is to receive comments from commissioners and from the public. First of all, I'll go to my fellow commissioners and see if there are any comments that you haven't shared already that you'd like to share. Yeah, go ahead. Chair Kennard.
Thank you. I appreciate this. And actually, in the spirit of keeping with what you implemented as chair in keeping these meetings efficient, I will be as brief as possible, but I did want to just go on the record with my sincere thanks for your leadership this year. And you've really improved just for the commission and what we do, operations and process, seen as how we're, getting through these meetings in a more orderly, quicker fashion. But then we're also doing some really in-depth analysis and work with the staff, and you've supported all of that. And it's just to see the work of this commission just continue to improve very much under your leadership has been a real pleasure to watch over the year. And I just wanted to express my thanks to that. And then also make the point, and this is true of every single commissioner, but just make the point about what a star you are and how much you contribute to the state of Utah. And, you mentioned that this is kind of just like an unpaid volunteer gig. And I just see you doing what you do out there in the real world and your, real job and everything you're doing for our state there. And then that you've given the time that you've given to this role as chair over the years just deserves a lot of gratitude. So thank you.
Thank you. That is Commissioner Tenner's birthday gift to me. I turned 40 this weekend, so that is my gift. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Are there comments online, Vicky? Okay. Any comments from the public in the room? Okay. Just making sure that you, when you come up to the mic, please introduce your name and affiliation and keep it to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Much, Commissioner. Good morning. So exciting when it's this quick. My name is Tanner Leonard and I'm an attorney, and I wanted to add one more awesome thing that I think the department has been doing to what Director Clayson said. In the past year, the staff has started doing 60-day visits after these licensees get their licenses, and that has just been such a great thing to see. So I wanted to add that to the list of all of the things that have happened since we've changed from DABC to DABS. To be helpful, and I've seen it definitely avoiding some violations. So I haven't had to be up here. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Well, do we need a motion to adjourn? I can never remember. Okay, Commissioner Jacobson, since you were nodding, could I get a motion to adjourn, please? Okay, I'll second, non-debatable. All right, thank you.